Hey everybody, Bill in Thailand. Welcome back. So this is the start of a new video series for an N Scale build here in Thailand. I am in what is the layout room, and it is about 11 by 13 feet in length and width, so plenty good size, bedroom size. I do have air conditioning and a fan. This was the master bedroom a while ago. I still have work to do into it. And I see I've got a little pet up here. If you see, if I can get this camera to focus. There we go, see that little lizard? That's native and natural pest control. No poisons needed. That little bugger will take care of any ants, other insects that get into here, and there's a lot more than just that one for sure. So anyway, over here, a nice piece of masonite. I've got to measure it. I think it's roughly 4 by 8. It looks like it is. Maybe a little longer. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't take a tape measure. About $4 US. Very thin, very flexible. Backdrop material over here. Various materials that I've brought over the past couple of trips. So I got a bunch of European stuff that's over in the main house. That I'll bring over because I can run that on here too. Over here, beautiful plywood. This was about $15, $16 a sheet US. Prices have gone up quite a bit in the past 6 months on materials. But this is beautiful and it's heavy. It's a dense plywood, very dense. Behind it is something I'll be using for like other projects, not necessarily related to the model railroad, but just general building, and it's sort of butcher block, 4 by 8 sheet. Again, heavy wood, fairly well finished. That one was a little bit more expensive. That was almost about $28 US. But nice and thick. Again, I don't know right offhand, but at least 1/2 inch, if not more. This is probably about 3/4 of an inch, roughly, in millimeter size, so have to do some measuring on that. But these 2 sheets will make the legs and the frame of the layout. Like I said, the other is going to be for other things. So in this room, when I get started, people have asked why not do around the wall, and you know what, if I could I would, but I've got windows all over and they open, so during the cool season I can open them up. So rather than block access to everything, I'm going to do a peninsula type layout again. This one, I've got an idea in my head of what I'm going to do. There's going to be mountains off into the back. In this area up in through here is going to be some switching, a little bit of yard action, river gorge kind of things going on as well. Doing sort of a loop. I'll have a walk around going around the layout because I want this to be open for tours, have people come in and take a look at it. I'll keep this front end open, and probably that's where my desk is going to go, like somewhere up in here. And again, high scenery, pit in the middle, maybe. I don't know. I've got to kind of play with exactly what I want and how much materials I've got. I want a double track main coming around, doing some loop-de-loops up into the mountains so they can cross over each other's trestles. Similar to what I did on my N scale in the US, but again, different. Be a double track main line rather than a single track main line that I've got there. This, at least initially, is going to be DC because that's the equipment that I've got more of and that I brought. Eventually, I might go DCC, but that's in the future. So what I'm going to start doing, and there'll probably be a good time gap between this section of the video and the next, is I will draw up a basic plan. I will get good measurements. Measured everything, but it's been a long time ago. And then start to figure out what I can get off these sheets of plywood. I've got the tools I need to do the cutting. I bought those quite a while ago. I've got a nice table saw behind here that I can rip boards. I can do a variety of different things with it. Enough power coming in so I can do some nice things. See my truck outside. Maybe even hear some thunder. The storms are coming in. So that will be it for this particular segment. Next one should be along further. Like today is the 19th of May, and this is from the Cedar Valley O Scalers, their O Scale calendar. Always like to give them a plug. And we'll see. No rush. A lot of other things still going on here at the house that I'm working on and doing and just enjoying being retired. But this will start to take shape very quickly with a model railroad theme. Still going to do some Gilligan's Island kind of decor in here. I've been doing some projects with bamboo. Had a fire in a grove of bamboo right in back of the new house. And then playing with some of the bamboo on different projects, how to split it, how to do different things, how to slice my hand open, all kinds of fun stuff. Anyway, I'm rambling. I will come back when I start to make some progress on this. Well, it's been a few days since the last video. Excuse the very dirty window. I've got to clean that on the inside yet. But there's definitely rain coming. It's Friday morning, probably about noon, and we are going to get drenched here very, very soon. But I am in the layout room, and I have taken out all the track that I have brought. I really think I've got enough to make a nice N scale layout. I really don't think I'm going to need to worry about track components at this point in time. I'm going to probably get some tape or see if I've got some next time I go to a market. So I can just sort of lay out a line on the floor. Basically, I'm going to come in one tile and then half, and that's going to be my walk space around the room. Everything else is going to be layout. So the layout's going to be like about to there and over to there and over to there. So for N scale, I should get a decent run because it'll go all the way over and over into here and then over. So should be able to do quite a bit and do have a double track main line. So what I'm going to do is once I get some tape on the floor, I'm going to actually lay out and get a sense of a track plan before I start to build the tables. A little bit different than what I've done stateside, where I'd build the tables and then lay out the track. Right now, it's a hot day. I'm just having some fun. So I've got my switches out. I've got electrical controlled switches. I'm going to test those, and I'll probably use a few of those in the mountain area so that I can have some divergent routes and some other fun stuff. A lot of flex track. All that pile right there is straight sectional track, curved sectional track, curved different radius, pile of re-railers. I will incorporate those in many places. Again, the tropics, heat, humidity, I don't know if I'm going to have problems with expansion and contraction. I'll put a copious amount of those in where I can kind of work them in. Crossovers, number of crossovers. As you've seen, if you followed me on the videos, my N scale and HO scale, I like complicated track work. Now, real railroads will do the simplest type of track that they could possibly do to serve the function that they're intending. However, if you look on Sanborn fire insurance maps, 1920s and so on, or ride like Eastern railroads, go to yards, you can tell there's still a lot of complicated track work. I'm going to work in as many of these crossovers as I can. This one for sure, because two tracks. So I'm going to have a double track main line. This might be a spur. I haven't figured that out yet. It might be in my yard area that I'm going to have. Don't know. Once I start to lay stuff out to get a sense of what I want, then I'll know better for how I'm going to use them. Those over there, most of them are electric switches. I will take them and test them on my power pack. I've got some Atlas controllers just to see, so when I get into the mountains, if I want, like I said, do a divergent route, I'm going to have some that work that are going to be hidden, so I'm not going to see the bulky side mechanism that are on those snap tracks. So that's where I'm at right now. I'm going to be doing more here fairly soon. I've got my equipment out. Over here is my European N Scale that I bought while I was still working. Some Kato. I've got some stuff from Germany, actually. All of these are beer cars, beer wagons. I'll have some fun with that. The Kato steam engine that goes with the Kato passenger set from a historic train in Japan. Swinging around over this way. You know, I've showed all this before. I've got kits over here. Got, you know, some paints, basic paints that I can do for painting. You know, N Scale scrap kit stuff. Whole box. This is all full of N Scale cars and equipment, locomotives. It'll be DC trains running. Should be able to have some fun with that. So anyway, I will come back and show another piece when I get some tracks spread out over the floor here.
Good example of a tropical monsoon. It's been raining like this for about 15 minutes. Check the rain gauge, already 0.6 of an inch. Probably get about an inch before this one's done. But it just rains and rains and rains. Rain's coming straight down. It is 84 degrees right now. Gotta love the tropics.
So making some progress on the track plan for this new N Scale layout. So what I've done is I have taken tape and put on the floor to kind of outline the space that I want. It's what's feasible here. This gives me basically a 2-foot walkway all the way around the layout. A little bit bigger here, as this is where I've got my little workplace and entrance door coming into the room. So this is a little over about 7.5 feet wide, approximately, and then just a little over 9 feet long. So again, a nice size for an N Scale layout. So this is the first iteration of putting some track down on the floor, which later will translate to a track plan on paper, and then later will go on bench work once I get this built. So this is a double track main. This iteration has the outer loop coming through here. You can see it kind of coming this way, going around, and then going around, and then coming back. There is a switch here which brings another track off that outer loop, crosses over both the outer and inner loops, comes in, and then I've got basically a connected siding with the outer loop over here. It's kind of hard to see, but there's a Pico crossover right there, switch. This can be hidden in plain sight staging. Thinking factories, you know, sort of a edge of a city type scene over here. A little bit of switching on this one coming off the inner loop. Now the inner loop is the longer one. So again, starting over here, kind of coming in, swinging through and around. And I will use more flex track. I've got a lot of it over there yet. When I actually do this, this will be a little bit more gentle and around. Thinking I'll have sort of a gorge coming in through here with some trestles, trestle over here kind of going up into mountains. But the track comes around, again goes through that diamond, comes around, inner loop, goes through here, getting that crossover from the outer, going in, coming in, and then right now I've got this big sort of figure 8 shape coming in. Now, I like the fact that I get that extra run in here. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this part, darn camera, I'm going to bring this part around, bring it up to here, kind of do the loop, bring the loop back, and then come up and then go over to this place. I'll still have a crossover. I've got a small one I can use, not a 90 degree. That still gives me the run, makes it where I'll be able to get access for a pop-up right in here, which will be hidden into the mountains. And then I will be able to do some stuff in the mountains, in the back. I've got some switches over here that are electrified yet. I think I said that earlier on. I've got to test them, but I can do some connections between the inner and outer loop that are sort of hidden away in a mountain. But that's the the first iteration of this. I'm kind of liking how this is looking. I've got my complicated track work right through here, which I like. Again, I've got to work on getting the tracks connected, so I've got some crossover opportunities. Redo this. I think I'll just kind of do my redo now, take a snapshot of that, and then wrap this particular video up. Next video, I will be talking more about the construction here, and then had some good news today on some other stuff going on here in Thailand related to model railroading. That will be on the next video. But let me rework this track a little bit, see how I like that, and then we'll wrap this one up. All right, last shot for this video. So I did come back in and I modified that figure 8 looking track plan that I had in there. Now, inner loop, again, a lot of curves. They will be much smoother when I use flex track. Crossover here, some diamonds, goes around, up over this way, and around this way, and then goes over itself again, and then back. So a pretty long run in N scale. This allows me a more centralized pop-up hole. I really won't need for too much, except for maybe that to be able to access, except for this middle piece here. Because otherwise it would be a little bit of a stretch leaning over. And I can make some mountain scenery here. I'll make mountain scenery coming up, and I will do mountain scenery slightly going down a few inches on the other side of the divide. So that most people standing, when they look, if they're looking in low spots, they're gonna see mountains rather than wood or masonite on the inside of that access pop-up. So should be able to hide that pretty well. Over here, track is now straight for a longer distance. I will be able to do something here for a crossover so that I can have trains going from one track to the other track. Know more once I start to test those, and I might start doing that tomorrow. I'll give an update at the start of the next video on just how those are playing out. But this I like so far. With the materials that I've got here in Thailand, this should make for a nice long run for trains running at scale speeds. I'm not going to have any racetrack running here, even on DC. If I do my job right and I get the track put in well, the connections tight, soldered, enough feeders into it to keep everything in good shape, I should be able to have smooth running trains at reasonably slow speeds, just like I did on Jerry's build here last year. So anyway, that's it for this one. Keep having fun on your layouts. Until next time.